The first mirror of wealth isn't in the bank. It's in your pocket. They say if you want to know how a man's life is going, don't ask him. Don't look at his house, his car, or his clothes. Just ask to see his wallet. A fat wallet doesn't just carry money. It carries a story of discipline, of intention, of a man who knows what every coin means and where every coin goes. But a thin wallet? It's never just about poverty. More often, it's about patterns. A thin wallet tells of habits left unchecked, of wages earned but never kept, of months that pass in a blur of bills, and years that leave behind only regret. And yet, in today's world, few dare to ask, why is my wallet always empty? Why does payday come and go, leaving nothing behind but the echo of what could have been? You see, this isn't just about income. This is about awareness, about the belief systems you've inherited, the financial muscles you've never trained, and the choices you've repeated so often that they've become invisible. In ancient Babylon, they didn't wait for banks to teach them wealth. They didn't rely on apps or credit scores. They had one simple metric: the purse. Is it growing fatter or growing thinner? If you could only keep a tenth of what you earn consistently, you'd change your life. Not overnight, but inevitably. So in this journey, we won't talk about investments first. We won't talk about passive income, side hustles, or crypto. Not yet. We'll talk about the very beginning of wealth. The ability to keep, to store, to preserve. And the tool to measure that? It's been in your back pocket all along. Your wallet. This is the wallet test. And by the end of this video, you will not only understand why your purse is thin, you will know how to make it fat, steady, and free of guilt. So take it out now. Look at it. Touch it. What does it say about your life? If it could speak, would it whisper wisdom or warn of wasted years? Let's begin. The first rule of retaining wealth: pay yourself first, every single time. In ancient Babylon, the richest man was not the one who earned the most. He was the one who kept the most. While other men labored from sunrise to sunset, spending their coin on sandals, wine, and fleeting pleasure, one man grew wealthier in silence. He followed a simple, unwavering law. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. This is not a metaphor. It is not poetic advice. It is the bedrock of every fortune ever built. Key point: most people pay everyone but themselves. Let's pause and look at modern life. You wake up, you go to work, the paycheck arrives, and then what? Before you even feel wealthy, the money is gone. Rent or mortgage, groceries, subscriptions, debts, a quick bite after work, a spontaneous purchase, a birthday gift for someone else. By the end of the month, your wallet sighs in defeat. Again. And yet you worked for that money. You earned it with your time, your energy, your stress. But the brutal truth is, you didn't keep any of it for yourself. Your landlord got paid. Your phone company got paid. The coffee shop got paid. But you gave yourself nothing. And that's the quiet tragedy of a thin wallet. Babylonian wisdom, the 10% rule. The wise men of Babylon taught, for every 10 coins thou earnest, keep one for thyself. Not later, not someday, not when you're debt-free, but now, always. Let's break this down with a real-world example. If you earn $3,000 per month, you set aside $300 immediately. You don't touch it. You don't rationalize it away for bills or pleasures. You pay yourself first, as if you were your most important creditor, because you are. That $300 is not savings.
It's your seed, the beginning of a fat purse. But what if I can't afford to save? That's the reflex most people have. I can't save right now, maybe next month, maybe after I pay off this or that. But let me ask you, if you can't live on 90% of your income, what makes you think you'll be able to manage 100%? The problem isn't your paycheck. The problem is your plan, or lack thereof. Saving 10% isn't about the amount. It's about priority. Even if you earn $500 a month, keeping 50 is the habit that transforms your financial DNA. This is why the Babylonian rule still holds. You are not truly earning until you are keeping. Test it yourself. Right now, open your wallet. Is there anything there that belongs to you? Not rent, not bills, not a loan repayment. If the answer is no, you are failing the test not because you're poor, but because you are paying everyone but yourself. Make a rule today. Every time you earn, before the world touches your money, claim a piece of it for you. Write it down. Tattoo it on your habits. I pay myself first, before anyone else, always. That is how wealth begins. Not with luck, not with inheritance, but with this one decision. Because the man who learns to keep a portion of his gold, no matter how small, is already wealthier than the man who waits for a raise to start saving.
A thin purse is a heavy burden. How financial emptiness weighs down the mind. You may think an empty wallet is just an inconvenience, a frustration, a sign that you need to earn more, work harder, or simply get by a little longer. But let me tell you something ancient yet forgotten. A thin purse does not just weigh down your pockets, it weighs down your soul. The invisible weight. Most men carry two burdens in life. The first is visible: responsibilities, deadlines, physical exhaustion. But the second is silent, hidden, insidious. It's the pressure of financial emptiness. That moment at the gas station where you pray your card doesn't decline, the anxiety when your phone buzzes with a bank alert, the shame of declining dinner with friends not because you don't want to, but because you can't afford to. The constant mental math of, can I make it to the 25th? These are not just financial stressors. They're psychological shackles. Scarcity becomes a cycle. When your purse is thin, your decisions become desperate. You take short-term jobs instead of building long-term skills. You settle for toxic environments because quitting feels too risky. You say yes to things you hate because you fear saying no might cost you your only income stream. And the worst part, you start believing that this is just how life is. But ancient wisdom whispers otherwise. He who lets his coin slip through his fingers will soon be slave to the man who does not. A man without coin is a man without leverage, and without leverage, every decision in life is made from a place of fear. That's not living, that's surviving. The wallet as a reflection of your mind. Take two men. One earns $10,000 a month, but spends it all. The other earns $2,000, but consistently saves $200. Who do you think sleeps better? Who walks into a room with more confidence? Who makes decisions with more clarity? It's not about how much you earn. It's about the relationship between what comes in and what stays. A thin wallet creates mental noise. Should I? Can I? What if I can't? A fat wallet creates silence. I can, I will, I'm ready. When your purse is empty, your mind is full of worry. But when your purse begins to grow, even slowly, your mind begins to quiet.
You stop reacting. You start thinking. You stop chasing money. You start commanding it. That's the real test. Financial chaos destroys mental clarity. Let me show you what this burden does in real life. A man who once dreamed of starting a business delays it every year because now's not the right time. A mother who wants to switch jobs stays in a place that drains her soul because the next paycheck is already spoken for. A young adult buries their passion and practicality, choosing the safe path that leads to quiet regret. And what do they all have in common? Their wallets are thin, but their hearts are heavy. This is why Babylonian wisdom starts not with strategy, but with discipline. Because if you don't learn to hold on to your coin, you will never hold on to your peace. The wealth you carry, or the weight you bear. Here's a simple rule. The thinner your wallet, the heavier your life feels. The fatter your wallet, the lighter your choices become. So don't underestimate the power of a single coin saved. Don't dismiss the small beginnings. Don't wait for the storm to build shelter. Because every coin you keep is a brick in your fortress. And every habit you build is a ladder out of the cycle. You deserve a life that's not ruled by fear. But it begins with this test, this quiet test of your purse.
The leaky wallet, where your money disappears without you noticing. In Babylon, they used to say, a purse that is constantly emptied will never grow fat, no matter how full it once was. It's a simple truth. But in our modern world of digital payments, one-click orders, and monthly subscriptions, it's never been more dangerous to carry a leaky wallet. Because here's what no one tells you. Most people aren't broke from big decisions. They're broke from thousands of small ones. The death by 1,000 cuts. You didn't buy a yacht. You didn't take a luxury vacation. You didn't gamble your rent away. And yet, your wallet is thin. Why? Let's look at the leaks. $4 for coffee every morning, $120 a month. $15 for 3 streaming services, $45 a month. Impulse food delivery twice a week, $160 a month. Random online orders, $100 a month. Forgetting to cancel unused memberships, $25 a month. None of these things feel like a problem until they pile up. These are the silent assassins of your wealth. They don't knock down your door. They drip into your habits. They bleed your wallet while you smile. You don't feel the loss. That's the danger. If someone robbed you of $500 on the street, you'd feel furious. You'd file a report. You'd tell everyone. You'd demand justice. But when you lose $500 slowly through autopilot purchases, emotional spending, I deserve a treat, you feel nothing. And that's how wealth is destroyed. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Babylon warned of this. If thou allow thy coins to slip unnoticed from thy purse, soon it shall be empty, and thou shalt wonder why. Track every coin, or lose every coin. There is a powerful Babylonian principle that modern people ignore. The man who counts his coins shall control them, but the man who ignores them shall serve them forever. Let's put it plainly. If you don't know where your money is going, it's going away. And here's the test. Can you name where your last $100 went? Not just in vague terms, but in dollar by dollar? If you can't, your wallet is leaking. Not because you're bad with money, but because you're not watching it. And what you don't watch vanishes. The Babylonian method sealed the pouch. In Babylon, a wise man would tie the mouth of his purse with a leather string. It was symbolic, his way of saying, no coin leaves this pouch unless I command it to. In today's world, that leather string is called intentionality. How do you tie your modern purse shut?
Review every recurring payment. Are you paying for things you no longer use or value? Limit frictionless spending. Turn off autofill. Remove saved cards. Make spending slightly harder. Set a rule. No unplanned purchase over $20 without a 24-hour delay. Impulse is the enemy of a fat purse. Track every expense for 30 days. It's boring, it's tedious, but it reveals everything you've been ignoring. Because what gets tracked gets tamed. Money leaks are habitual, not accidental. Here's the hard truth. Your leaky wallet isn't caused by one bad week. It's the result of years of unconscious permission. It's just $5. It's on sale. It's cheaper than eating out. I deserve a treat. But ask yourself, what do these leaks cost you in freedom, in peace, in possibility? If every month your wallet bleeds $400, that's nearly $5,000 a year. Money that could have built your emergency fund, paid off a debt, funded a side business, bought you back your time. But instead, it evaporated because you never saw it leaving. The new habit: plug the leak, then build the bridge. So what now? You don't need to become a miser. You don't need to live on bread and water. You just need to become the kind of man who says, every coin I spend must have a purpose, and every leak must be sealed. That's not stingy. That's strategic. You cannot build a bridge to wealth if the foundation keeps crumbling. And the foundation is this: what comes in must not slip away. Fix the leak, watch the purse, respect the coin, and you'll be shocked how quickly your wallet begins to grow heavier and your life lighter.
The lie of more. Why earning more won't fix a leaky wallet. If only I made more money. That's the mantra of the modern man. That's the promise we whisper to ourselves every time the wallet runs dry. Once I get the promotion, when my side hustle takes off, after I hit 6 figures. But here's the truth that Babylon knew and we've forgotten. A leaking purse does not care how much gold is poured into it. It only cares how much stays. The great financial illusion. Let's play a simple thought game. A man earns $2,000 a month and spends $2,100. He is broke. A man earns $10,000 a month and spends $11,000. He is also broke. A man earns $1,500 a month and saves $150. He is building wealth. Now ask yourself, which one are you striving to become? Most people believe that income equals wealth. But income is only potential. It's not the score, it's the starting point. Wealth is not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And if your habits are broken at $3,000 per month, they will still be broken at $30,000 per month, just with better packaging. More money only magnifies who you already are. If you're undisciplined with little, you'll be reckless with much. If you're unstructured with $500, you'll be chaotic with $5,000. Money is not a savior, it is an amplifier. The more trap in modern life. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. You get a raise. You celebrate by moving to a more expensive apartment. You land a bonus. You buy a new gadget you didn't need. You finally have a cushion. You let your guard down, and slowly, your wallet is empty again. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's the silent killer of middle-class dreams. Babylonian wisdom warned, gold quickly earned is gold quickly spent if not guided by wisdom. That's why poor money management isn't fixed by income, it's only masked. Just like a cracked foundation in a house, painting the walls won't fix it. You have to rebuild from the ground up. Real cure, discipline, not dollars. Most people don't need to earn more. They need to think differently about the money they already earn. Babylon taught, start thy purse to fattening, no matter how small thy earnings.
And that truth remains. You can save on any salary, plan on any paycheck, build wealth from any starting line, but not if your brain is addicted to more. Here's the dangerous belief that keeps your wallet thin. I'll save when I earn more. No, you won't, because more always comes with more temptation, more excuses, more wants disguised as needs. If you can't build a habit at $1,000, you won't magically develop one at $10,000. Reset your formula. Most people use this equation. Income minus expenses equals what's left to save. Babylon flips it. Income minus saving equals what you're allowed to spend. That one shift changes everything. It turns saving from optional to non-negotiable. It forces you to budget based on what's truly yours, not what looks good on paper. You don't need to earn more to be wealthy. You need to learn more about what to do with what you earn. And once you master that, then yes, go ahead, earn more, because now you're ready to keep more. Modern story. 2 friends, same path, different results. Let me give you a real-life story. 2 friends graduate together. Both get jobs paying $3,500 a month. One starts saving $350 a month, 10%. The other waits until he earns more. Fast forward 5 years. The saver has over $25,000 in the bank, not including growth. The spender has nothing to show for except 5 years of stress, impulse purchases, and debt. Why? Because one believed the lie of more. The other obeyed the truth of enough. Enough managed well is more powerful than more mismanaged.
Pay yourself first isn't greedy. It's the oxygen mask of financial survival. In every airplane safety briefing you've ever heard, there is one instruction that never changes. Put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. No one calls that selfish. Everyone calls it common sense, because you cannot save the person next to you if you yourself cannot breathe. The ancient Babylonians understood the same law applied to coin. Quote, "He who fills his own purse first is best prepared to aid the purses of others." Paying yourself first is not an act of hoarding. It is the act of securing the means to be useful, generous, and unafraid. A man whose wallet is empty hesitates to help a friend in crisis, resents every family expense, dreads every unforeseen bill. A man whose wallet is fat lends without fear, gives without regret, invests without panic. Self-preservation is what enables contribution. Modern culture often whispers, saving for yourself is selfish, real virtue is spending on others. Yet ask the charities who rely on consistent donors. Ask the children who depend on stable parents. Ask the communities built by financially strong citizens. They will tell you, generosity is funded by surplus, not by deficit. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot donate from an overdrawn account. You cannot mentor with a mind distracted by overdue bills. Paying yourself first is therefore responsibility, not greed. A quick experiment, the 2 envelopes. Take tonight's paycheck, whatever its size, split it into only 2 envelopes. Mine, 10% or more that you will not touch. The world, 90% for every other claim on your life. Lock envelope 1 in a drawer. Spend from envelope 2 as usual. Watch how quickly your psychology changes. Your sense of security rises. Your impulse to overspend falls because 90% now looks finite. Your focus sharpens because you know the first envelope is untouchable. Repeat this for 3 months and you will discover a startling truth. You never needed 100% of your income to live. You only convinced yourself you did. Historical proof, the farmer and the famine. Babylonian clay tablets tell of a wheat farmer who set aside 1 sack from every 10 at harvest. Neighbors mocked him. Enjoy life, there is always next season. The famine came.
The mockers starved or sold their land at humiliating prices. The farmer opened his granaries, fed his household, and bought the neighbor's fields for pennies. Greed? No, foresight. And because he survived, he later hired those same neighbors, paid them fair wages, and rebuilt the community. Preservation to capacity to generosity. That chain has never broken across millennia. The 3 layers of paying yourself first. Emergency cushion, the shield. 0 to 3 months of living costs. Purpose, keep life's small storms from sinking you. Opportunity fund, the sword. Capital ready for investments, education, or a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Purpose, strike when fortune knocks. Freedom engine, the wings. Long-term, compounding assets that will one day replace your labor. Purpose, buy back your time permanently. Every dollar you pay yourself progresses through these layers. Skip none, rush none, worship none. Just sequence them with discipline. Building the habit in the real world. Automate the extraction. Salary hits your account, 10% auto transfer to a separate, harder-to-reach vault. Name the vault. Call it My Freedom Fund or Family Fortress, something that reminds you why the money is sacred. Let others know. Tell your spouse, your accountability partner, your future self in a journal. This 10% is non-negotiable. Refuse rescue raids. Birthdays, sales, emergencies of others, none may pillage your vault unless a true life and death scenario. Hint, most emergencies are mislabeled inconveniences. The unseen victory. When you master the oxygen mask habit, your posture changes. You stand taller because fear shrinks. Your speech changes. You negotiate calmly because desperation is gone. Your choices change. You pick long-term rewards over short-term thrills. That is the real profit of paying yourself first. The coins are merely evidence.
From coins to streams, turning saved money into ever-flowing income. So far, we've learned how to protect the coin, to respect the purse, to pay ourselves first. But what good is a purse that fills if it never multiplies? In the streets of Babylon, it was said, "Gold in a purse is dormant, but gold that labors returns with friends." That is the true transition, from saving to multiplying, from protection to production, from coin to current. The second pillar of Babylonian wealth: make thy gold multiply. Saving money is not the end, it's the beginning. Once you've gathered your coins, the next test is this: can your coins start working so that one day you don't have to? Because real wealth is not measured by what you earn with your hands, but by what your money earns while you sleep. The seed analogy. Picture this: you plant a seed, you protect it from birds, you water it daily. Then one day, it bears fruit, not just for that season, but every season to come. Money works the same way. Each dollar you save is a seed, but until it is planted wisely, intentionally, it does not grow. A saved coin is potential. An invested coin is productivity. That is the core of the sixth Babylonian truth. Let your gold go forth and return with offspring. Modern echoes how the rich multiply their money. Let's look at how today's wealthy apply this. They don't let their money sleep in checking accounts. They don't hoard cash under the mattress. They put every spare dollar into assets that produce more dollars, like rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, businesses that run without them, intellectual property, high-interest savings instruments, even peer-to-peer lending or microloans with calculated risk. And they reinvest the returns. Over time, they create streams of income, so they're not living paycheck to paycheck, but dividend to dividend, rent check to rent check, royalty to royalty. Babylonian example, the brickmaker who failed. Clayson wrote of a man who saved for a year,
then entrusted his gold to a brickmaker who promised to buy jewels from foreign lands. When the brickmaker returned, he brought back colored glass, not gems. The lesson? Gold flees the man who invests it in businesses he does not understand. Multiplication without wisdom is gambling, and Babylon never gambled. So how do you apply this in modern life? The safe path to multiplying wealth. Use only your saved portion. Never invest money you need for next month's rent. Study before you sow. If you don't understand where your money is going, it's not an investment. It's a donation to someone else's dream. Start small. Test. Track. Learn, then grow. Look for recurring returns, not flashy promises. True multiplication is slow but relentless, like a river carving stone. Automate where possible. Let systems do the heavy lifting. Index funds, DRIPs, savings accounts that move your money into long-term vehicles. Even peer-to-peer lending or microloans with calculated risk. Real-life Babylonian, the janitor who became a millionaire. Ronald Reed was a janitor in Vermont. Never made more than modest wages, but he saved religiously, invested consistently. In his 90s, he left behind an $8 million fortune, mostly in dividend stocks. No windfall, no tech startup, just discipline, patience, and letting his gold multiply over time. This is not magic. This is Babylon, reborn in modern form. The enemy? Hoarding in fear. Let me be clear. Saving is wise. Hoarding is fear in disguise. A purse so tightly clutched that no coin escapes to work will never grow fat. It will only rust in safety. Gold must be sent to labor, or it will quietly die in comfort. This is not about greed. It's about freedom. When your money works, you earn time. You earn options. You earn peace. You stop trading your hours for coins because your coins now bring back hours. That's the magic. That's the shift. That's the wallet test. Passed.
The trap of quick gold. Why the fastest way to lose money is wanting it too fast. If there is one desire more dangerous than poverty, it is the desire to escape poverty too quickly. Gold that comes quickly flees just as fast. Ancient Babylonian proverb. The seduction of speed. In the world today, wealth has become a race. We're bombarded with stories of overnight millionaires, crypto kings, drop-shipping gurus, TikTok traders, get-rich in 90 days coaches. The promise is simple. Why wait 10 years to build wealth when you can do it in 10 weeks? And yet, the truth behind these stories is rarely told. Most went broke after the first wave. Many never understood the risks they took. Some were never rich to begin with, just good at pretending. Babylon taught, wealth that is built too quickly without foundation collapses with the first wind. The real cost of fast gold. Fast gold is not just unstable, it's blinding. Here's what it steals from you. Wisdom. You skip the lessons that come from patience and discipline. Humility. You believe your success came from skill, not timing or luck. Resilience. You build no muscle to withstand loss. And when the tide turns, as it always does, you're left exposed. Ask anyone who bought high and sold low in a frenzy, invested all in a once-in-a-lifetime coin, took a loan to chase a hype trend, and lost everything. The root wasn't greed, it was urgency. The desire to leap over process, to reach the fruit without planting the tree. Babylonian cautionary tale, the camel trader. One story tells of a young Babylonian who inherited 50 pieces of gold. Eager to double it quickly, he gave it to a traveling camel trader who promised to return with spices and riches from faraway lands. The trader never returned. The gold was gone.
And so was the young man's belief in easy wealth. Better a slow coin that returns than fast gold that disappears. Babylon valued consistency over speed, wisdom over risk, truth over hype. And so must you. The balance. Fast effort, slow money. Let's be clear. You can act fast. You can learn fast. You can build fast habits. But your money must move slowly, methodically, deliberately. Because true wealth is like a tree, planted with intention, watered with discipline, grown over seasons. And one day it gives shade not just to you, but your children and their children too. The modern quick gold traps to avoid. Ponzi schemes and MLMs. Bring 3 friends, and they bring 3 friends. If it sounds like a math cult, it probably is. Crypto hype with no utility. Buying coins because they're trending is like chasing fireworks. Beautiful, but gone in seconds. Unproven passive income blueprints. If someone is selling you a dream with no hard numbers, they're likely selling you their exit plan, not your entrance. Leverage without knowledge. Borrowing money to invest in what you don't understand is not bold, it's suicidal. Mentorship programs that sell lifestyle, not skill. If you're paying $2,000 to learn what they learned for free, you're the product. The defense against fast gold. How do you protect yourself? Ask this before any investment. Do I understand how this makes money clearly, simply, and sustainably? Filter hype through time. Anything that can't wait 30 days probably isn't worth doing. Stay close to principles, not promises. Real opportunities align with what you already know and value, not what dazzles you in the moment. Remember Clayson's law. Wealth that endures is built in patience, not panic. The power of boring wealth. You don't need to get rich quick. You need to get rich forever. And that means stacking slow wins, letting your money marinate, avoiding shiny traps, and trusting in what always works. Discipline, strategy, and time. In Babylon, the wealthy didn't chase the wind. They studied the soil, planted with care, waded through droughts, and harvested abundantly when the time was right.
The power of the quiet purse. Why true wealth doesn't flaunt itself. Walk through any marketplace, modern or ancient, and you'll find 2 kinds of men. One loud, adorned in gold, dripping in luxury, eager for attention. The other simple, measured, invisible in a crowd. But if you followed them home, you'd likely find the first one drowning in debt, and the second, quietly wealthy beyond belief. The fattest purse makes the least noise, Babylonian proverb. The illusion of wealth versus the reality of it. We live in a time when looking rich is more popular than being rich. Instagram feeds, TikTok houses, YouTube wealth hacks. The internet has turned perception into currency. But Babylon warned us long ago. He who spends to appear wealthy will soon spend his last coin and still seek applause. And yet, we fall into the trap. Why? Because it's easier to look rich than to become rich. Looking rich takes a credit card. Becoming rich takes discipline, time, and privacy. What quiet wealth looks like. A man with $300 sneakers but $30 in his bank account. Loud poverty. A man with $30 shoes and $300,000 in assets. Quiet strength. True wealth is not a flashy car, a designer watch, a luxury vacation you can't afford. True wealth is options, ownership, peace.
The ability to say no because you already said yes to your values. The psychological advantage of the quiet purse. Here's what most people don't realize. The man who flaunts wealth is often owned by it. He must maintain the image, feed the expectation, live in fear of exposure, panic when the cash flow stops. The man with a quiet purse, however, feels no pressure to impress, spends when he chooses, not when he's watched, sleeps well knowing his finances serve him, not the crowd. A purse guarded in silence grows. A purse paraded in pride leaks gold unseen. A tale from Babylon. The merchant who wore sandals. In one of Clayson's lesser-known tales, a young man was astonished to discover that the wealthiest merchant in Babylon wore sandals no different than a servant's. When asked why, the merchant replied, "My feet do not know if the sandals are stitched with silver or straw, but my purse knows when pride begins to pick its pockets." That's the Babylonian mindset. Function over fashion. Freedom over flaunting. Modern echo. The millionaires you'd never notice. Studies have shown most self-made millionaires drive used cars. They live in modest homes. They budget carefully, and they invest in assets, not appearances. In fact, many of them are financially invisible. Why? Because their goal was never to impress you. It was to escape dependency, own their time, and leave a legacy. They don't need applause. They need results. The dangers of performing wealth. Performative wealth is a trap. You buy clothes to look the part, and the bills follow. You lease a car to look successful, and it owns you. You dine out to network, and you can't afford groceries next week. Each time, the purse gets lighter, and the performance gets heavier. Until one day, you're rich in reputation and broke in reality. Babylon knew. A man may wear a robe of scarlet, but if his purse is empty, he carries no honor in the council of wealth. Practice the art of invisible wealth. Here's how to live the Babylonian way today. Invest where no one sees. Index funds, long-term rentals, education. These don't sparkle on your wrist, but they build your empire. Let your wallet speak to your future, not your ego. Every dollar saved quietly today is a voice of confidence tomorrow. Buy quality, not status. Babylon prized utility and durability, not symbolism. Celebrate milestones in private. Your progress is not for public approval, it's for personal freedom. Tell no one until they ask how you did it, then teach. Legacy, not flexing, is the goal. Gold is shy. It flees the man who shouts, but it comes home to the man who waits. So be that man. The one who nods quietly while others brag. The one who walks humbly while others perform. The one whose wallet grows heavier without ever having to prove it.
The final barrier. Why fear stops you from taking the first step. You've heard the rules. You've seen the proof. You understand the logic. And yet, your wallet remains thin. Not because you're lazy, not because you're foolish, but because of something deeper, quieter, and more dangerous. Fear. Not fear of failure necessarily, but fear of starting. What are we really afraid of? Most people don't fear the numbers. They fear what the numbers might reveal. The fear that they've wasted years earning but not keeping. The fear that it's too late to change. The fear that they don't know enough to make wise financial decisions. The fear that one wrong move could make things worse. And most of all, the fear of finally taking responsibility. Because once you acknowledge that you could take control,
you also have to admit that you haven't. That's heavy. But Babylon has something to say about fear. Fear is the excuse of the man who wishes to stay poor with honor. Fear sounds noble. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to make the wrong move. I'm being careful. But in truth, fear often wears the mask of comfort, and comfort, left unchecked, is the enemy of wealth. The Babylonian philosophy, start small, but start. In Babylon, no man became rich overnight, but every rich man started somewhere, often with nothing more than one silver coin, one sack of wheat, one borrowed tool. And what separated them from the rest? They began. They didn't wait for clarity. They didn't wait for courage. They didn't wait for permission. They started, stumbled, adjusted, and grew. So if you're afraid to begin your wealth journey, Babylon would ask you, what is heavier, fear of change or the chains of lack? Common fears and the Babylonian response. Let's name the fears and break them one by one. What if I mess up? Babylonian response. Better to lose 1 coin in trial than 100 in inaction. Mistakes teach. Stagnation rots. I'm not good with money. Babylonian response. No man is born wise in coin. Wisdom grows where effort is sown. You're not bad with money, you're just early in the process. It's too late for me. Babylonian response. Gold knows not the age of the hand that holds it. You don't need youth to build wealth. You need consistency, clarity, and time. I don't earn enough to save. Babylonian response. The man who keeps 1 of 10 coins will one day have 10 more than the man who earns without keeping. It's not about amount. It's about habit. No one taught me this. Babylonian response. He who waits for teaching may die before he begins, but he who teaches himself opens the vault. You are not helpless. You are capable. And the first lesson begins when you decide to learn. How to conquer financial fear. Babylonian strategy. Start with one habit. Save $1 a day. Track 1 week of expenses. Pay yourself first on your next paycheck. Learn by doing, not delaying. Don't wait to feel ready. Read, apply, review, repeat. Focus on progress, not perfection. Your wallet doesn't need to be perfect tomorrow. It needs to be better than yesterday. Talk to your fear like a servant, not a master. You may ride in the cart with me, fear, but you will not hold the reins. Build wins quickly. Save your first $100. Cancel 1 useless subscription. Track your spending for 7 days. These small victories quiet fear, because action is louder than anxiety. Remember this. Fear is not a sign you shouldn't start. It's a sign that what you're about to do actually matters. Your wallet won't grow by accident. Your life won't change through passivity. And your freedom won't come if you wait for courage to show up first. The men of Babylon became legends, not because they were fearless, but because they were faithful to the first step. So ask yourself, what is fear costing me? And then take 1 coin, hold it in your hand, and begin. The Wallet Reborn: How a Fat Purse Transforms Your Life
without anyone noticing. No trumpet sounds, no headlines scream, no crowd claps. But something shifts. Slowly, quietly, your purse begins to grow. And with it, so do you. The silent revolution. A fat purse doesn't arrive like lightning. It grows like a seed beneath the soil, unseen at first, but unstoppable in time. And as it grows, so does your clarity, your confidence, your calm. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. As the purse fattens, the mind quiets, by Babylonian principle. You no longer wake with anxiety. You no longer make decisions out of desperation. You no longer fear a flat tire, a sick day, or a missed paycheck. Instead, you walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with anchor. Not with pride, but with peace. You are still the same man, but now you are standing on stone, not sand. The fat purse is more than money. What you're building isn't just financial. It's emotional, psychological, philosophical. It's a way of living that says, I take responsibility. I plan beyond today. I am no longer controlled by noise, impulse, or fear. I am the master of my purse, and therefore the master of my life. What changes without anyone noticing? Here's what happens once your wallet is reborn. You stop explaining yourself. You don't need to justify why you didn't buy the latest gadget. You know where your value lies. You attract better conversations. The broke talk about prices. The wealthy talk about purpose. You feel more generous on your own terms. You give from overflow, not obligation. Giving becomes a joy, not a burden. You sleep deeper because peace of mind is the most luxurious asset of all. You say no more often and mean it because now your yes is reserved for things that matter. And no one may notice these changes, but you will feel them in your bones. Because a fat purse changes everything, not in volume, but in vibration. You become a new kind of man. The wallet test is not about passing or failing. It's about becoming. You become a man who thinks long instead of short, who builds instead of blames, who prepares instead of panics, who values discipline over dopamine, who would rather be quietly rich than loudly broke. And most of all, you become a man whose future is no longer a mystery, but a choice. The legacy of Babylon. The laws of gold are ancient. They were carved into stone before apps, banks, or algorithms, but they still echo. And now, you carry them. You don't need a finance degree. You don't need 10 streams of income. You only need one decision, one coin, one moment of courage, repeated with discipline, guarded with wisdom, grown with patience. That's how fortunes are made. That's how wallets are reborn. Final whisper from the ancients. A purse once fattened and trained to stay so becomes a servant for life, never a master. So train your purse, respect it, protect it, and let it free you. Because when your wallet changes, everything else begins to follow. Not loudly, not dramatically, but powerfully and permanently. The quiet test you must pass alone. This was never just about money. It was always about you. About the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. About the coins you keep, the habits you protect, and the future you build in silence. Your wallet is more than leather and stitches. It is a mirror, a reflection of what you believe, what you value, and what you're becoming. A thin purse is not a failure, it's an invitation.
An invitation to question what you were taught, unlearn what holds you back, and start again with discipline, not despair. You now carry what men in Babylon carried: wisdom, principle, power. You don't need to be rich to begin. You need to begin to become rich. So tomorrow, when the world tries to distract you, when the ads shout, when the temptations rise, when your past habits whisper, remember the test. Take out your wallet, look inside, and ask, will I be the man who spends everything to feel rich for a moment, or the man who keeps a little quietly to be free forever? Because wealth doesn't arrive with applause, it arrives with a single coin kept with honor. That's the wallet test, and now you are ready to pass it.